What's up, everybody? Purple and Gold podcast for Monday, February 2nd. Hope everybody is warming up. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Super Bowl week ahead should be a great week. Want to talk a little weekend catch up, talk about the CSC investigation that the Athletic reported on LSU, talk a little bit about LSU's men's and women's basketball team. We'll do a preview of LSU's catchers as we go through our baseball preview. And then I want to end up with a fun little game that I would like some interaction for in the comments. Also want to touch on, and I'll start out with, so Garrett Nussmeier won the MVP of the Senior Bowl. He looked good, played well, had a rushing touchdown on his own read. I know a lot of LSU fans dying to see that over the years. And good for Nuss. I think Nuss will do well at the combine. I think Nuss will do well in the interviews. He gave some interviews about his injury and that the fact that they couldn't really establish what it was until he finally shut it down after the Alabama game. I think it'll be important for him to explain that to NFL teams, but I think he will. And I think Garrett Nussmeier will shoot back up draft boards. I don't know how high he can get drafted. I don't think he'll get drafted in the first round. We'll see if he can get in the second round. And good for Nuss, and let's hope all's well that ends well there. Certainly, no LSU fan should hold any ill will to Nuss. Just didn't work out. He just was not healthy, and the team just did not gel. And we certainly don't have to rehash that again. In regards to this report from the Athletic, some of you may have seen this on Friday. The CSC, which is the College Sports Commission, they are investigating LSU, and they are investigating, actually, they sent emails to over a dozen schools. Real quick, this is a whole lot of nothing. This has to do with one athlete in a non-revenue generating sport, so not football and not men's basketball, who failed to report an NIL deal, likely because they thought it wouldn't exceed the $600 threshold. This will likely be resolved in the coming days. A little bit, or maybe a lot of disingenuous reporting. Not so much reporting by the Athletic on this one, but clickbait. They used a picture of Lane Kiffin on their site. They used an LSU football helmet for the photo that accompanied the articles on their social media page. And it had a lot of people clicking on this thing thinking, oh my goodness, LSU just signed this $40 million portal class. What happened? Well, this has nothing to do with any of that. And really, it's much ado about nothing. And so we'll keep you posted if anything does break in regards to what this may have been. But like I said, we already know what it was. It was one athlete who just, failed to report an NIL deal. And again, likely not anything of any significance. LSU's men's basketball did get a win over the weekend at South Carolina, 92-87. Good for them in overtime. I talked a little bit about Matt McMahon, actually a lot about Matt McMahon in the basketball program last week. They do not play again until next Saturday. There has been some good reporting and some good commentary done by Matt Moscona and others about what it would take to buy out Matt McMahon and the staff, probably upwards of $10 million. Then you'd have to spend money on a new basketball coach. You'd have to spend money on a new roster. There seems to be a question as to whether or not LSU's donor base has the appetite for that at this particular moment. We can table that for now. We're going to let this thing play out. LSU's got 9 SEC games left. We'll see how this all shakes out and whether or not Matt McMahon can win enough games to come back next year, and whether or not Verge Osbury, wants to round up funds and just do his own thing. And the LSU women's basketball team played just an outstanding game yesterday, dismantled number 24 Alabama 103-63. LSU went up from 6-5 in the AP poll that came out today, and they are on the road Thursday night at number 4 Texas. LSU, of course, beat Texas earlier this season at the PMAC. That should be a whale of a game on Thursday night. So we're all looking forward to that. On to continuing our LSU baseball preview. We talked a lot on Friday about the expectations and the schedule. I thought I'd go position by position and break down the team for you. I know a lot of people don't follow this as close, and we'll start with the catching position. And LSU's catcher is going to be, their starting catcher is going to be Cade Arrambide. Cade Arrambide was a freshman on last year's team. He backed up Luis Hernandez. He did make 20 starts. He wound up starting all the SEC games that Anthony Ianson pitched. He was Anthony Ianson's designated catcher. Cade Arrambide has all the potential in the world. He's worked hard on his defense, great power. He led LSU in hitting in the fall. I expect this to be a giant breakout, and I expect this to be one of the storylines of LSU's season. Now, over the weekend at LSU's baseball scrimmages, Cade Arrambide hit, but he did not run. We don't know if he's injured. We don't know if they're saving his legs for the season. That will be something to monitor. So you turn to health and you say, okay, who are LSU's backups? Well, they brought in Omar Cerna, who's a freshman from Texas, same as Cade Arrambide. He was the number one high school catcher in the state of Texas. He was the number 4 overall catcher nationally. LSU got him through the draft, just like they did Arrambide. 6'5", 245, big power, a lot of swing and miss in the bat, needs some work on the defense, but he would be in the mix. And then LSU brought back Eddie Yaman, who was a redshirted last year, came from Dayton. Many people thought he would probably transfer out. He didn't, stuck it out. He's one of LSU's real glue guys, and judging by all of the reports, he's really come on. He can hit a little bit. The catching is better than when he was at Dayton. He played a lot of outfield and other positions when he was at Dayton. I would suspect that as of right now, he might be considered LSU's backup catcher. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, we've still got 11 days before they play a game, but LSU does play 4 days in a row and 5 in the first 6 days. You would not think that Cade Arrambide will get a heavy workload there, especially if there is something wrong with him, which we don't know that. I'm not saying that there is. Just know from the reporting on the scrimmages that he did not catch and he was not running. So it'll be interesting to see if both Yaman and Omar Cerna can get starts. When Omar Cerna got through the draft and then was on the team in the fall, I initially thought Omar Cerna would be a candidate for DH, and he may get some at-bats at DH. But when we talk about LSU's infield, when we talk about the DH spot, I'm going to give you the guys who I think will ultimately take the lion's share of those at-bats. I don't believe it will be Omar Cerna. So that's LSU's catching position. It'll be interesting to see what the situation is with Cade Arrambide, and if he gets back out there later in the week for the scrimmages. But LSU first pitch in 11 days against Milwaukee. We're all excited. So I'm going to end today's episode a little bit of a fun question, and I'm hoping for some interaction in the comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. And I stole this from some of the fellas who cover LSU, All Things Go, David Biot, some of the boys that have been talking back and forth on Twitter. And I watched, they had a little roundtable on Friday night. And the question was, if as a fan, you could see 10 more championships in your lifetime, how would you divvy up those championships? Could be any team you're a fan of. If you're a Saints fan, if you're a fan of a Major League Baseball team, if you have a hockey team, obviously all different LSU sports. If I said you could see 10 more championships, how would you break it up? And I've done a little thinking about it, and I'm in the unfortunate position as a pro sports fan of being a Saints fan, a Cubs fan, and a New York Rangers hockey fan. Not much of an NBA fan. And the Rangers and Cubs and Saints, of course, have all won one championship in my lifetime, but they all seem like, that might be the only one that I see in my lifetime. So I would definitely pick one more of each on the three of those. And then I've got to pick LSU basketball. I mean, I've got to see LSU basketball win the national championship. And so that would leave me with 6. I would divvy up my other 6 between probably football and baseball. I'd certainly like to see football win 2, 3 more. And I'd probably like to see baseball win 2, 3 more. I could go just about any way on that in terms of the remaining 6, divvying them up between football and baseball. I will tell you that I think if you asked me what I thought the next championship would be that I would see, I would certainly say LSU baseball. Certainly LSU gymnastics has got a shot. Certainly women's basketball has a shot. But UConn and South Carolina, some other teams in the field look really tough on the women's basketball side. But certainly LSU could cut down the nets. And certainly Kim Mulkey could do it again before she retires. So any interaction, anybody's got any thoughts on that, love to hear it in the comments. As always, share this around. If you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like, subscribe to the channel. I got some new subscribers over the weekend. Very excited about that. And we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about LSU's infield, which is crowded and has some of the bigger position battles on the team. And so we'll tackle that tomorrow on the Purple and Gold podcast. As always, be good to one another, and always, 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 go Tigers.